Welcome to Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated's Fortitude Speaks. Born from the theme Forward with Fortitude, this series is about what fortitude looks like in action. Fortitude Speaks.
We're so excited to have you to talk about what's going on with Delta. You are Delta. This is our podcast. We're excited about launching that. And you've been such a powerful leader. You are such a powerful leader. And what you have done in these past few years is amazing. What is it that you want to make sure happens while you are president, international president of Delta Sigma Theta Sorority?
Well, first I want to say I am super excited that we are able to launch this podcast because it was certainly one of the things that I wanted to do to see how we can continue to expand our opportunities to reach those who might not know as much about Delta Sigma Theta, to connect closely with our members. So I'm always looking for opportunities to have a chance to do that. And so I thought this podcast would be a great way to do that, as well as to lift up all of the great work that we do as Delta Sigma Theta day in and day out. And the members in our chapters and our communities who are on the front lines doing it every day, just making sure that we could lift all of them up and that we just one more opportunity to connect. So I thank you very much, Faith, for helping to make sure that this has happened, if you will, and really spearheading it. So it's great. So during my administration, I'll tell you, my theme is Forward with Fortitude, engaging our sisterhood, empowering our communities, and elevating our impact. So if I look at those areas, one of the things certainly is identifying continuing ways for us to be able to engage our membership, if you will, for us to be able to better connect with them through town halls, through many webinars, so that they're connected to our programs. And when I meant many of them, because over the course of a year, there are quite frankly hundreds of them, that SARA's chapter officers can, and in a number of cases, the community can take advantage of. Anything from officer training all the way to making sure that our communities are all in as we're all in with our social action agenda. And then one of the key focus areas that I've had in my administration has been around physical and mental health. So making sure we can get such important information about all aspects of mental wellness to our members so that they can continue to get that information out and connect closely with our communities. So it's as I think about the different things that we're looking to accomplish, there were several key areas. First of all, when I came into office, we had just implemented a strategic plan, a 5-year strategic plan. And so making sure that we could make some great headway along our strategic plan that has several strategic priorities, from organizational health to community impact to social action, which is so integral to the DNA of Delta Sigma Theta, to the empowerment of women and girls, to celebration of our culture. So making sure that we could make some key progress in all of those areas. So I want to jump to a couple of programs that we hope to do just that. And they cross the spectrum, if you will, in some cases, between the empowerment of women and girls to community impact and to some extent organizational health as well. So one of them is in the physical and mental health area. I came in to office and we were still in a pandemic, if you will. We were in the COVID-19 pandemic, not in the thick of it. It was on the downside of it, but still a pandemic nevertheless. And I've long been passionate about making sure that we had an opportunity to talk about mental health and wellness, but it became very much more important to look at how we remove the stigma of talking about it, till we remove the stigma of making sure that we even understand the various aspects that can affect our mental wellness, and being willing to not only talk about them, but to be able to do something about them and remove the stigma of being able to do something about them. So out of that came the Live Well initiative. So Live Well is one of the programs that was launched under my administration by our Program Planning and Development, Physical and Mental Health Subcommittee led by Charlotte Freeman. And we have Wellness Wednesdays every single month, where we bring content to the community as well as our members, our chapters and members. But there are many focus areas that our chapters take out to their various communities. Out of that, we've had the opportunity to also establish another partnership, and that's with the National Alliance of Mental Illness. And we are planning, what I'm very excited about, is a Live Well Summit scheduled for the end of May in Nassau, Bahamas, where there will be a key focus on physical and mental wellness, but also financial wellness and the importance of financial health and how, quite frankly, it can impact your physical and mental health. So that will be a culminating event that will happen prior to my going out of office. So we're very excited about that, but also very excited about the fact that this program, is being packaged in such a way that it can continue to live, past my administration, if you will, because it still is such an important issue. It's an important issue for our collegiates, for other college students, and for every part of life. If you look at it, I will tell you it's more important than ever in the climate that we're in right now and the climate that we've been in 2025. There are pressures, that are coming from just the state of our country. The attacks on what we feel like are personal attacks, to what we are trying to do, as a predominantly Black women's organization. And we certainly have members from all ethnicities, but just some of the focus areas, in our communities. So there are so many more stressors that makes the physical and mental health aspect just so much more important.
Your emphasis on mental health, the timing of it is amazing, because certainly it's something that we need to focus on in a different way, in a way that we will understand that it does impact us. Folks are talking about mental health more now than they ever have, and realizing that it's something that we need to embrace. So
Absolutely.
What you're doing and making a priority for the sorority is so admirable and so needed.
Well, it is, because it goes beyond looking at what is the stereotypical
the
mental illness and the stigma of mental illness. It's really around mental wellness, if you think about it. So mental wellness, mental health, there's so many aspects of it. From what impact does grief have on your physical and mental health? What impact does systematic racism have on that? What impact do life events and life changes, whether it's the loss of a loved one, whether it's just a change, even positive change can cause stress in your life. Whether it's worrying about day to day, am I going to be one of the employees who is just immediately impacted by not having a position, or even being put on administrative leave so that I don't know what's happening from day to day. So there are just so many different aspects of it that go far beyond, what we normally think about when we think about mental illness. So being able to focus on those things was absolutely critical. And one of the other key areas really is around financial wellness and financial empowerment, and an expansion of our overall financial fortitude program. And we've been able to do that in thinking about how we focus on financial fortitude across the lifespans. So from youth, so
Yes.
not just our members, but looking at the community, from our youth who need to understand and learn good financial practices very early in life before they even go to college and get tripped up
Right.
with things like credit card debt, get tripped up with, oh, I have the latest thing, and somebody will buy it for me, or I've gotten this credit card, so I can just do what I needed to do, not thinking about the fact that the bill's going to come. Thinking about the young person who starts a job and doesn't necessarily take advantage of a matching 401k plan,
Right.
or taking advantage of. There are so many, in other communities, if you will, who might learn the value of saving and investing really early. So they might come out, of college with already a stock portfolio.
Right.
We want our members to, and our communities, to really understand the importance of doing some small things at a very young age can reap great benefits. X number of years later, if you will, years later, as we start to mature, as we start to think about other life shifts, whether it's someone getting married and having children and having to worry about those finances, all the way through getting to the later years of, okay, it's time to retire. Am I going to be able to retire and still do all the great things that I did? Are my parents, even before I even get to that stage, are there things that can be shared that will make their lives even easier, or others in our community who might struggle? So really looking at every aspect of financial wellness, the importance of looking to build generational wealth, so all the way from the smallest things like becoming debt-free, and we've had a long-term partnership with D-Free, to really building much better habits all across the lifespan. And we've had the opportunity to have some great partners as part of that as well. Prudential is one of them now. Over the year, we had New York Life. We've had multiple partners, JP Morgan Chase. We've had multiple partners who have been able to help us bring our financial fortitude initiatives to life. And we're excited because we also have areas that focus heavily on entrepreneurs.
Yes.
So we have a Delta Red Tank program. We have, and that's patterned after Sharp Tank. It's a contest that provides the opportunity to give assistance to either budding entrepreneurs, those who are just starting out, or those who are looking to grow their businesses. And in some other areas, we have our Delta Red pages that help us to advertise our businesses, and so that others may know about them. It's a digital format, and we're looking at a special component of that, tying back to the physical and mental health, especially the mental health and wellness, in terms of providing so that SORAs and the communities will have at their fingertips resources.
Yes.
So resources of those who are professionals in those areas. And so that is in the works now. And so we're hoping to get that done prior to my going out of office, if you will. I'll have to tell you, if we look at the overall strategic plan, there's some key components on organizational health, if you will. And there are some that are really around organizational excellence and efficiencies and building blocks on how
You've made lots
we
of
have,
changes.
yeah, we have better financial controls. We can make sure that we have, a great place to work for our employees, and that includes both the environment as well as a physical place to work. So we're in the midst of a major renovation for Delta's home in Washington, D.C. on New Hampshire Avenue. So we are busily trying to get that done, and so that it will be, if not all the way done, at least most of the way done prior to my administration ending. So there has been a lot of work in progress on that as well.
I saw something recently where there's an opportunity for Delta to sponsor Delta.
There is absolutely. We are in the midst of looking to launch a capital campaign so that we will be able to provide the opportunity for Deltas to support Deltas and our partners also to support Delta Sigma Theta. From our major renovation to the furnishings that go with that, to our many programs that we provide, from our youth development programs to our entrepreneurial programs, to the opportunity to support some major leadership development programs that we conduct, one on the collegiate level, one on the alumni level, and then we have the alumni ones on the regional level as well, in addition to the national level. So there are a number of areas. Our Presidential Youth Academy, which is made up of all of our youth programs, and then the culmination in terms of a national initiative that happens in conjunction with our national convention. So there will be the opportunity to support all kinds of different programs as well as initiatives that are happening in Delta. And we are at a time where, as we look at attacks on DEI, as we look at challenges that some companies may not be as willing to partner and support, grants, may be disappearing, we still have programs and we still have the opportunity to support our own. And so we're looking at just making sure we have the infrastructure in place to be able to enable members to do that, our SORAs to do it, as well as our friends, our partners, so that we can continue the great work that we are doing. So I will tell you, we have also had the chance, as we look across our organization and how we elevate our impact, to partner with several organizations. But one of the things that we've done is really look internally as we think about the organizations that were outgrowths of Delta Sigma Theta. So building stronger alliances even with them. So we have our Delta Research and Educational Foundation, which is our 501c3 organization that is 56 years old at this point, but we have looking at strengthening the partnership with our Delta Research and Educational Foundation. I sit on that board by virtue of my position as international president of Delta Sigma Theta. But we have many things we partner on, from programs that they're able to get grants, and some of those grants require person power to be able to implement and execute, and the members of Delta Sigma Theta are able to do that. Mm-hmm. There's opportunities that get provided from DREF around scholarships and internships, and we have the opportunity to partner on those things, and our members get the opportunity to take advantage of those things. And the list goes on, and certainly as other outside organizations, if they want to contribute to a 501c3 program and an entity, they are able to, they're able to support DREF, and then DREF is able to in turn help to support the programs that Delta Sigma Theta is implementing, if you will. And then we have a new organization, relatively new organization that came from Delta Sigma Theta as well, our D4 Women in Action, which is a 501c4 organization, in terms of the tax status. And that organization allows us to be able to go farther than we were previously around our social action and social justice agenda. Delta has been focused on social action and social justice since the very beginning. Since our founders marched on Pennsylvania Avenue during the Women's Suffrage Parade. I think they were social justice minded from the very beginning when we think about how did Delta Sigma Theta even come into existence, with our founders wanting to do more from a service and social action perspective. And so since that time has been part of our DNA, we've been able to go as far as we have with being a 501c7 organization. But as we look at the C4, which now both these other organizations are separate organizations, but they still, we say very close, because they are still part of the Delta family, if you will. And I do sit on the D4 board as well, by virtue of my position as president of Delta Sigma Theta. But we are able to expand the advocacy that we're able to do. With D4, we're able to, the D4 organization is able to support specific candidates and endorse specific candidates, whereas Delta Sigma Theta cannot endorse candidates, but we certainly, our members can support D4, which in essence helps to, support, specific candidates that are endorsed. They're able to opt in and get information so that they understand, which candidates have been endorsed. They're able to, if we have something in Delta Sigma Theta that we are looking to do, as a program, and even something we're able to look to advocate for as we go, for example, to Capitol Hill or to our state capitals. D4 can take it a step further in the sense that if there is a legislator on any level, quite frankly, not supporting, we can take it a step further and write letters in terms of the fact that we are displeased because of their specific issues and really call them out on that. And if someone is supporting, we can offer our support. This is a candidate who really is aligned in our interest, whereas as Delta Sigma Theta, we really can't do that, even though we can advocate for issues specifically. So it's just enabled us to expand our agenda even more fully as we partner with D4. So it's been great we call it organizational alignment, to make sure that we leverage the full power
and cover all the bases.
The power of all of our organizations is really tremendous. And it allows us to elevate our impact, which is one thing that was very important to me during our administration, to continue to identify ways where we could broaden, where we can continue to get the great things we have done, but through collective partnerships, we are able to elevate the impact that we're able to make in our communities in all kinds of different ways.
Fortitude Speaks. Next time on Fortitude Speaks.
Join us for part 2 of this exclusive interview with Delta's International President, Elsie Cook-Holmes, and co-chair of the National Communications and Public Relations Committee, Soror Desiree Faith Morris.